We actually talked about the Miles Johnson Anderson Dos Santos fight already, but like just a few things to even touch on here. I think that Anderson Dos Santos almost has that classic style of fighting that seems to still be sticking around a bit, right? You talk about a Titan FC champion over Ricky Simon. I mean, the guy's gone and done it at the MMA level. I just think that in the UFC in 2021, it's a bit of a different stint. You talk about his 0-2 record, some of the things that you even see in the fights, you have to kind of pick apart what he looked good in. And even the Martin and Dave fight, I think that he got good top position, but then found himself in that guillotine, things like that. But he takes a lot of damage. I think that's where, even if this is the kind of guy that can go to a decision, when you're taking that level of damage, his striking differential is minus 266 to 4.8. That's pretty significant against a guy like Miles Johns, where, we talk about these outlier style of finishes like the Stricklands and things like that. But for him to lose to Mario Bautista in the way that he did, I think that was something that really threw me off a bit, because we kept seeing the knee being in that area. He was really telegraphing that, and the corner was aware, and it was just to not see that adjustment, from Miles was kind of an eye-opener of where he might be at in his UFC career. But at the same time, we're talking about a guy who gave up a wrestling scholarship to pursue MMA, and his striking is just getting better and better and better. And I think that that's what we're seeing now from him. Mario Bautista is the guy who only lost to Corey Sandhagen and Trevin Jones, who we should have seen last weekend fight once again. Such a great fighter to watch. But that's where I actually see this kind of being Miles Johns' fight to lose, right? We're talking about a guy who throws with significant power, and the wrestling pedigree is there. I just think that he's going to be the better athlete, the 2021 MMA style athlete that we're all growing to love, and especially these lower weight classes, right? You talked about the keys to victory for Anderson Dos Santos. I think it's very much to beat up the legs. I think remove the movement, remove the power, really make this a grinder fight. If you need to make, Miles Johns a bit tired to steal maybe rounds 2 and 3 after kind of taking some of that damage in the first, maybe that's the kind of fighter we see from him, right? I think that he cannot be indisciplined at all, especially with these takedowns, right? Miles Johns will be quick to grab necks. He's going to be quick to grab limbs, And like I said, we're starting to see some of that power really come into play in his game. And that's what makes him such a highly touted prospect. And I can even remember the lines fairly well. And I would actually keep it around that area of that minus 200, minus 250. I just think that he is the fighter to pick here. If Anderson was to pull it off, it'd be one of those bigger surprises on this entire card, in my opinion. And I think that the only way he can do it is by attacking the lower body, keeping the pressure going. Don't let that athleticism and all that, MMA style of fighting that we're seeing now, of everybody being a little good at like almost everything. I think that's just going to be something where he has to push pressure, get control, and find ways to do damage. And, his fights are gritty. And I think in this case, Miles might have his numbers. So let's take a look and see if the lines have changed at all. And I mean, not really, right? Minus 200 for Miles Johns. Some places are now sitting at minus 220, minus 225, with Anderson opening at about plus 170. And frankly, you can get him as high as a plus 175 now. I think that's a pretty close fight just in terms of where things might be able to go for Anderson Dos Santos, but we just outlined all the areas where Miles Johns should have the advantage, and also where the kind of outlier is with the knockout that he did suffer against Mario, because I think Mario is a very good fighter, and striker is the key word there, because I think Miles Johns in that area is ever evolving, and that's going to be one of those things that stick out like a sore thumb in your own head, and that's going to make him a better fighter, and I can see him really walking away with this fight.